Hello students, so we are finished with our two chapter. So today I will start with a new chapter, that is chapter 3.1, spectrometry. So it's very important and interesting topic here. There is a mass spectrometry and it's the advanced one. That means basic concept for your MSc chemistry. So that is spectroscopy, the spectrometry, mass spectrometry, NMR, and IR. This all comes under spectrometry. In that, one type is mass spectrometry. And here, mass spectrometry is powerful analytical technique used to quantify known material to identify unknown compound within a sample and to elucidate the structure and chemical properties of the different molecule. So here the applications or uses of mass spectroscopy here. The mass spectroscopy is analytical technique. So it is a powerful analytical technique and so to quantify known materials, that means the quantity of known material, to identify the quantity of known material, to identify the unknown compound. So if we know the compound, then we can identify the quantity. That means qualitative and quantitative analysis, So we can easily do the quantitative analysis here. And then for a qualitative analysis also, we can use the mass spectroscopy, that is to identify the unknown compounds here. So within a sample, we have the mixture of samples, just imagine. Then we can identify the sample, unknown sample here. So that is the qualitative analysis. And to elucidate the structure. After all this, we can elucidate the structure using mass spectroscopy. That means parental ion and the structure of fragmentation is all comes under the mass spectroscopy. So these are the chemical properties for these identifications. We are using the chemical properties here. So of the molecule or a compound here, the vapors of the substance are bombarded with the energetic electrons or a atom. So here is very important. For the mass spectrometry, we are using the substance vapor here in the gaseous form and bombarded with the energetic electron or a atoms. So we are bombarding with the energetic electron and they are molecule ion, then it is that means bombarded electron, they forms the or they break down the compound into fragments here. So that is what we call the molecular ion and its fragments are formed here. And then the separation and collection of the ion according to their mass to change ratio. And then to identify the different character, like as I said, there is a qualitative analysis for or quantitative analysis. So we are we will get a graph of mass by charge ratio or mass to charge ratio along with their versus their abundance. That means in the graph, one side we will get the abundance, that means number or quantity, and then in another side there is a mass to charge ratio. So this is the graph we get. The mass spectrum of the substance is a float between the m by e ratio and the relative abundance. So it is the introduction here, and the instrument used is known as mass spectrometer. So this is the mass spectrometer instrument we are using. And then the qualitative and quantitative analytical technique. So here for the qualitative and as well as for quantitative analytic technique, we are using mass spectrometer. The determination of molecular mass, functional group, isomers, reaction mechanism, and structure of the molecule. So its application is very wide. So they are for the determination of molecular mass, to identify the functional groups, to identify the isomers, and the reaction mechanism and structure of the molecule. So even for the reaction mechanism identification and the structure of the molecule, we can easily identify from the mass spectrometer. And advantage, so here it is highly sensitive. That means a very small quantity compound which gives the accurate or sensitive result for a compound, and it is accurate. And here the small amount of the substance is required. That means the amount of the substance we require to analyze is very small compared to the other technique. So in a mass spectrometer, almost all the compound content that is very small here. Here also in the mass spectrometer also very small amount of the substance is required to identify or analysis here. And then principle. So here the ionization, the molecules are bombarded with the, so this is a principle, this is very important here. So the basic principle of a mass spectrometer, and here the molecules are bombarded with the energetic electron or with the fast moving energetic atoms. So here normally the electrons are used in the bombarding, and here the energetic electrons, so they have their own energy to bombard. So our fast moving energetic atoms also we are using. So this is the first step. So first we are bombarding the compound with the electron, and then the molecule ions are formed by the removal of electron from the electron pair. Then what happens? The molecular ions are formed. When we are bombarded with the electron, then it forms a ion. So the ions are formed because of the removal of electron. So by the removal of electron from the bombarding of electron, so it get a charge. So here you can see. So we are bombarding with the one electron. So after the bombarding with the sample, what happens? It gets positive charge. That means it have the two charge, two electron. So one electron is bombarded with this electron, and then these two electrons are separated from the parent atom or a molecule, and it gives a two electrons. So one electron is bombarded electron and the electron from the parental molecule or the molecular ion, sorry, molecule. So here it gives the molecular ion. So this is the parental ion and it gives the molecular ion. This is what we call the bombarding here. And then after the formation of molecular ion or parental ion, is called parental ion, and the molecular ion or parental ion is also called as free radical ion. So it's also called as free radical ion. Why it is called free radical ion? Because this one electron is removed from the bombarded electron, and another free radical or a free electron is remaining in the parental molecule. So this is called free radical cation. And then this ionization process requires energy in order of 70 ev, so volt. So in the form of volt we can say 7070, and in the case of joule we can say 1600 calorie per mole. So this much of energy is required to remove the one electron. That means the bombarding electron must have 70 ev or the 1600 kilocalorie per mole. This much of amount of energy. Otherwise, we can't remove the one electron from the parental ion. This energy is greater than the typical bond energies. That means the energies, the bombarded energy must be greater than the bonding energy of the parental ion or the parental ion or the molecule here. So this is very important. This is the first ionization. The first step is the ionization. So in the first step, as the name says, we are ionizing the molecule, neutral molecule into their ionization state by bombarding of electron here. And then next what happens? After the formation of fragment or the free radical ion or parental ion, the fragmentation takes place. That means the neutral ion, it becomes the charged ion with the free radical. So it's more unstable state because the parental ion is the single electron or the radical electron. So it is more unstable state. So what happens here? The parental ion with the radical, which increases the probability of collision inducing ionization. That means after the formation of charge, the plus charge or the free radical, what happens? The probability of collision. So here the probability of collision inducing ionization. So that means ionized molecule, they have the most probability of colliding each other. And then if the energy of bombarding particles is quite high, that means here, as I said, the bond energies, the amount of the for the removal of electron, we need only that much of bond energies of the molecule. When we are supplied with the more energy than bond energies, then what happens? The quite higher, then the molecule may retain the such excess energy. So it will, the bombarded electron will remove the one electron, but excess of energy remaining or supplied from the electron, it it gives the or it transferred to the molecular ion, and that's higher energy makes them to a new fragment molecule. That means is higher energy from the bombarded electron, it gives the different fragments of the parental ion. So in this picture or in this reaction you can see, so this is the parental molecule. After the bombarding we get a charged or charge of plus or a free radical here. After that, because of the excess of energy, what happens, the parental molecule is divided into separate fragments. Here there is a m1 state or m1 and m2 with the two separate particle here or a molecule here, or we can say this charge, that means the charge of the parental ion will transfer to one of the fragment here. So here m1 get the plus charge, or in the case of second reaction, m2 have the plus charge. That means the charge of the parental ion, it transfers to it fragments here. So this is the concept here, and the parent ion and fragment ion etc are produced in the ionization chamber. So after the supply of excessive energy from the bombarding, so this parental ion, it gives the fragments and other product also. Then, so this is about the fragmentation, and then acceleration. So here acceleration means, you know what is acceleration. So here the speed or the movement of energy, movement of a molecule or any object. So it is variated or variation of the movement of the or kinetic energy of the object. So this is what we call acceleration here. The acceleration in the case of mass spectroscopy is very simple. In the acceleration, the positively charged parent ion or the fragment. So here is very important. Just see here the acceleration of the positively charged parent ion. That means the positively charged fragment ion. That means the fragment which have the positive charge. So here M1 or M2 which have the positive charge. Okay, this fragmented ion, they accelerate their speed by applying some potential. So here is very small energy or 8 kV kilo volt of energy is supplied to vary or accelerate fragment the fragment ions. So to accelerate the fragment ions, so we are supplying some amount of energy, so very little, this is 8 kV. So this is what we call the acceleration of ion. So here we are supplying the energy to accelerate the charged fragment here. So suppose an ion having a charge E is accelerated through a voltage V, then the kinetic energy of an ion is given by, so when we are accelerated, so when we are accelerated the molecule with the voltage V, so this much of voltage we are supplying to accelerate the fragment, then we can calculate the kinetic energy by the formula. So here half mv square is equal to ev. That means half mv square is the kinetic energy, and then ev is the voltage we are supplied. So this is the formula. So from this we can easily calculate the kinetic energy or the volt or the current we are supplied. So here where m is the mass, so m is the mass and small v, it is the velocity of ion, half mu square. So m is the mass, v is the velocity of ion, and then v is the, that means capital V is the potential applied. So electron potential we are applied, so there is a capital V here. This formula is very important, and This equation is 1. And then the separation of ion on the base of their m by e ratio. So the next step is the separation of ions on the basis of their m by e ratio. M by means mass by charge ratio here. So here the accelerated ions are made to travel in the circular path. So in the instrumentation you can see this circular path means what and everything. So just go through the principle here. So here the accelerated ions are made to travel in a circular path through a 180 degree under a magnetic field H. So what they will do after the accelerated, after the acceleration of ion, we are made to travel in a circular path. Okay, with a 180 degree. So the circular path. So while they are traveling in a circular path, just imagine here they are traveling the circular path, we are applying the magnetic field. So we are applying the magnetic field here. So just imagine. So applying the magnetic field, there is the magnetic field. It is H. So the magnetic field is denoted as a H here. The ion will experience force of HEV. So what happens? The the experience of the fragment. So here we are applied magnetic field as well as the potential. So here for acceleration we are applied with the potential. So EV we are supplied with EV as well as the magnetic field. So we can say the total experience experienced by the fragment is HEV. That means H is the magnetic field, EV is the potential we are applied. So total dispatch the charged ion or the charged fragment, it is experienced in the circular path and which produce the acceleration and the in circular path of radius. So for the acceleration, two factors are affecting. One is charge or potential we are applying, and one is the magnetic field. So we are applying. So these two affects the acceleration of the fragment ions. And the circular path, its radius is r. So radius of the circular path, it is r here. So just imagine this is radius, so this is r. And totally three factors. One is magnetic field, and then potential applied, and then the radius of the circular path. Hence we can calculate here according to the Newton's second law of motion. So according to the Newton's second law of motion, HEV is equal to mv square by r. So this is the Newton law, second law of motion. So it is the equation 2. So this is the equation 1. So this is the equation 1 and this is the equation 2. Squaring both the side for the equation 2, we are squaring both the side. So what happens? H square E square V square is equal to M square V4 by R square. So we are squaring both the side, and then here V square we are simplifying here. That means V square is common in the both the side. So after the cancellation of V square with the e to the power of 4, we will get H square E square is equal to V square by R square. So this is the equation number 3 here. This is the equation number 3. And now from the equation number 1, so from equation number 1 here, the potential we are applied to accelerate the kinetic energy. So here we will get half mv square is equal to EV. That means EV is equal to half mv square. So from the equation 1, we can say, or we can rearrange, mv square is equal to half e or 2 ev. That means we are moving this half this side, so it becomes 2 ev. Mv square is equal to 2 ev, and substituting the value of mv square. So in the equation we have the mv square. So we are applying the equation 4. This is the equation 4 in the case of equation 3, and then we get, that means instead of mv square we can write m into mv square. We can write like this also. So mv square here. So we are writing m square v square into mv square. So instead of mv square, we can write 2ev from the equation number 4. So the equation number 3 will change like this: h square e square is equal to m into 2ev. 2ev from here, instead of mv square, we can write 2ev and divided by r square. So here r is the radius here. To So the equation changes like this. And then after the simplification or rearranging, so here h square and e, so that means get cancels. That means here we have the one e, and then one e is in from the e square, we can remove one e. So then we get the h square e is equal to 2mv by r square. And m by e ratio, we need m by e ratio. So after the rearrangement, mass by charge ratio can calculated by h square, so is the magnetic moment we are applied, and then r is the radius of the circular path, and v is the volt, that is the potential we are applied. So this all three are constant here, that is the magnetic field, and then the radius and volt. So this all three are known. Then we can easily identify the m by e, that means mass by charge ratio, and this is the equation number 5. And then from the equation number 5, it's clear that given magnetic field strength, accelerating voltage, the ion of m by e value will follows the circular path with the radius r. So that means the m by e ratio, it is related with the potential applied and magnetic field, and also the radius of the path. So thus the ion are differentiated on the basis of their m by e ratio. So we can easily differentiate the ions on the basis of their m by e ratio. The ions of various m by e value reach the collector and amplified and record. And then what happens after all this process? That means after accelerating of the fragment, so at the collector, at the point of collector, it collects the fragment or the ions, and then it's amplified the potential of the or potential and the strength of the fragment, and then it is recorded. So totally, so this is the principle of mass spectroscopy. So here the principle, first one is ionization, and then fragmentation, and then exhalation of the ion, and then separation of the ion on the basis of m by e ratio. So here the derivation, we have the derivation, and then m by e ratio we can calculate easily. And then the mass spectrum can be obtained either by changing the v at constant h or changing the h at the constant v. That means mass spectrum can be calculated or identified by two conditions, mainly two conditions. They are: one, at a constant h we are altering the v potential, electric potential, or we are changing the magnetic field and the electric potential is constant here. So this is about the principle, and in the next class we discuss about the instrumentation. So here I'll finish. Thank you.